The town of Farragut, of course, it has the benefit of the sales tax only in the town of Farragut. So if you're shopping at Water to Wine, I know they're here, if you buy something there, that sales tax goes to Knox County. If you buy it at, O'Charlie's, it goes to the city of Knoxville. So out of that, 9.25%, the state gets 7%. The local governments get 2.25%. And the town of Farragut is required by mandate to give 50% of that to the school system. So, if you're buying a $100 item, about $1 of that will go to the town of Farragut, and that's their primary source of income. Again, no property taxes town of Farragut. So, we're gonna have two different forums. The first one's county mayor, the Farragut mayor. Mike Ragsdale's my best friend, that's why I said county mayor. So, and then we'll have our alderman. And we invited all aldermen and all candidates, and one is elected to come tonight, so it won't be a forum, it'll be a question and answer. And you'll see from these questions, they all directly relate to the town of Farragut governments. I don't know how we can find a better moderator than my partner, Mike Ragsdale. Not only did he serve as a county commissioner, which in this district, with the town of Farragut was, of course, in that district, he was a county mayor for 2 terms. He was the president of the state's Association of County Mayors for 2 terms, so he worked with all 95 county mayors throughout the state. Probably the neatest thing he did, because as chief of staff, I know what that involved, is also president of the National County Association of County Executives and County Mayors. And as a result of that, even though he was a Bush delegate, he got to go to the Barack Obama Christmas party. So, Mike's gonna do the moderating, and I guess I think you both just sit down there, side by side.
I think we're gonna stand.
Stand up, okay.
Yeah.
I'll be drinking the water.
Let's see if this works, if I can get it on.
Can you hear? Good. I can hear myself. That's great. And you know, it's interesting because when I was at the Barack Obama Christmas party, I ran into the mayor of Memphis, who's a Democrat, and he goes, "How did you get in here?" And so it was a different time in politics, a lot of fun and lighthearted, and it was a really good time. Appreciate everyone being here tonight. To echo Mike's sentiments, if you want good government, you need engaged citizens. And we have that in the town of Farragut, and I really compliment you for doing it. Louise Povlin is candidate for the mayor of the town of Farragut. The other candidate, Alex Kane, called me this afternoon and said that he was coming, and then he just sent someone a text and said that he wasn't coming. So I'll leave that to him to explain his reasoning for that. But Louise, we do appreciate you being here, appreciate your past public service. So we have some questions, and I am so grateful that Louise is willing to stay and answer questions in front of the group, even though her opponent is not here. So let's start with this.
Well, let me say thank you for doing this. This is an important thing that our residents need, a forum like this that is independent and everyone can attend and hear. So I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you.
Delighted to appreciate you being here. First question. Tell us a little bit about your background and why you think it qualifies you to be mayor of the town of Farragut.
All right. Well, I lived here for about 26 years. The last 18 have been in Farragut. Raised my kids here in Knox County Schools, volunteered in those Knox County Schools. Opened up a small business in the town of Farragut in 2012. Went to the Intro to Farragut class, the first one they had, and had to show up at one of the board mayor and alderman meetings, and they were talking about fixing one of the roads, Union Road, and I thought that they should fix every road. So I showed up at the next planning commission meeting with all of my research, because I'm an engineer, that's what I do. I used to write patents for a living, so I write as well. And said, you should fix this road instead of that road, and these are the reasons why. And they agreed with me, and they changed their capital improvement program for that year and switched projects. At the end of that process, Ralph McGill asked me to sit on the planning commission. And that appeals to my engineering, analytical, let's study, let's research, and I like to understand what's going on. So I started my career there. 2016 or 2015, Ron Honkin is moving out of state. He's an elected official, and they need someone to take over the rest of his term, which is about 9 months left. Mayor Ralph McGill again asked me to throw my name in the hat. Threw my name in the hat. I was appointed. in August of 2016, I ran for the office, won a contested election, was re-elected in 2020, and termed out in 2024. I can run for one term as mayor, and I'm absolutely fine with that.
Good. I think each of us, no matter where we live in this county, want our children to have an opportunity for a great education. And Lauren Morgan, we certainly appreciate what you do on the school board serving this district. We represent all the people in Knox County. With that being said, something that has dated back to when I was a county commissioner and before is that the town of Farragut doesn't contribute the same percentage of sales tax as the city of Knoxville and Knox County. So with that being said, should Farragut be contributing more to public education? And the second part of that question is, are there other things they can do other than the sales tax dollars to help support the schools in Farragut?
Well, actually, I'll take that question first. We actually already do support our schools and have supported our schools. Public Works can come in and helps our schools in a variety of different ways when they have needs. When I was on the Intro to Farragut class, as a board mayor and alderman member, I pushed Intro to Farragut class. They do a volunteer project. And they were going kind of out in the community, and I convinced David to reassign them to do their volunteer work in each one of the schools. So we've painted hallways, and we've painted gyms, and that gym is disgusting, by the way, Farragut High School gym, underneath all of the.
You heard that, Lauren, I'll leave that one to you.
Don't crawl underneath the bleachers. So there's support. We have the Education Foundation that I reworked, the Education Foundation I served on as an ex officio member to make sure that we contribute from our grants to the schools for them to be able to use their extra funds how they see fit instead of trying to figure out what they can get from Knox County schools. So there's money there. And we have our Education Relations Committee, which I reworked a couple of years ago to make it more effective, bringing in representatives from the schools, either the PTO or teacher, who's on the ground and understanding what's going on. So each one of them, as they're doing their fundraising, they can at least collaborate in their calendars so that everybody else they're all working together and making sure they're not stepping on each other's toes. And then we're trying to get our students engaged at on the Education Relations Committee, but every other committee has a student member that serves on it. So that's that support. We have that going on. We do, people don't understand how much property tax the town of Farragut generates for Knox County. We're 3% of the population, or 3% of the land mass, and we generate anywhere between 7 and 8% of the property tax. So a substantial amount of money is coming from the town of Farragut, and Knox County doesn't take care of our roads, they don't take care of our parks, they don't take care of our infrastructure. Those are the things that we take care of. So they're getting, obviously they have the schools and we have Knox County Sheriff's Office. We also generate about 22 million in sales tax. Of course, 11 of that goes straight to them. Right. So we are generating quite a bit of funding for our Knox County schools. I will say, the reason Knox County and City of Knoxville contribute what they contribute is because when City of Knoxville and abandoned, I don't know if that's the word.
Went out of the school business.
Yes, went out of the school business and consolidated with Knox County. There was a lot of older buildings that needed repair. There was the teachers' pension issues. So they entered into agreement to do, I think it's 72 cents for each one of them. That didn't involve, Farragut wasn't involved in any of that. We were part of the Knox County schools, and we had already gone through the 50% is what's required by state law.
Right.
So.
And just FYI, a little history lesson, the city of Knoxville went out of the school business, the public health business, the public library business, and the jail business. So there was quite a few things that went out of business over the course of a couple of decades. So let me make sure I've got these questions right. As you're aware, town of Farragut has no property tax, as Mike mentioned. Its government is funded primarily through sales tax. What type of businesses would you like to see coming here that would enhance the quality of life and also enhance the tax base?
Well, I've said this before when I was talking with Glenn Abbey. If I had my dream, I would have Trader Joe's and Aubrey's and a Panera on the Ford property. I think everybody would love a Trader Joe's. I really try and woo Aubrey's back. They left, obviously that building was one of their first buildings, and they've changed the way they do business. But they left with some bad feelings, and I would really love to repair that, and I would really love to bring Aubrey's back to Farragut. I think it would be a real good shot in the arm for all of us.
It's hard not to like Aubrey, so,
Yeah.
for those of you who know Randy Burleson, be sure and tell him I said that tonight, so I may get a 10% friends and family discount when I'm there the next time. What role do you believe Shop Farragut should play in supporting local businesses and strengthening community? And how do you envision the town's partnership with Shop Farragut evolving over your term in office if you're elected?
Well, and it's really an exciting time. Shop Farragut has a real good foundation of events that they've been holding for several years now. Doc Dogs and the Halloween event that turned into a Halloween costume event that is really a favorite here. So those events are great, and it gives small businesses an opportunity to purchase booth space so that they can get more exposure in the marketplace. I would love for us to start kind of getting more data on that and making sure that that's effective. But and Steve set up the foundation for that and did a great job. But we now have new leadership under Ashley, and she's bringing some real good energy into it. They're starting a blog. Remind me what that's called, Ashley?
Farragut Front Porch, it's already a podcast that's gonna feature small businesses in the area.
So it's exciting. I love that it's geared, I mean, it's for all businesses in the town of Farragut. But every time I've talked to residents, they really want more mom and pop businesses. And we have a lot, and we want more. I don't know that there's ever enough, but they need special support when they're doing their build out. They need that, money is tight. So we need to make sure that we're helping them with that. And recognizing that we have Shop Farragut, and we have the chamber, we have Visit Farragut for once they've opened their doors. So if we can get this support network from the minute they sign their lease to build out and on, we have a real opportunity to be selling Farragut as a great place for small businesses to come and thrive.
Very good. Okay, how can the town improve communication and collaboration with its citizens? What can the town be doing to further let these folks know what's happening each and every day, each and every week in their town?
Well, I think we need a formal communication plan. I know Alderman LaCroix has been talking about that. He came in and recognized, I think I've always recognized that our communications weren't as good as I'd like them to be. And when he said formal communication plan, I'm like, why did that never occur to me? We need to be on Nextdoor putting information out. We need to be on Facebook putting information out. We need actual old school signage when something is happening in the town, a site plan approval, or rezonings are assigned, but site plan approvals, or we just went through a really exciting thing where we narrowed down the constraints of the road design. We changed them to really adhere to it, to bringing back keeping the character of the corridor. We should have had signs on each one of those corridors so people could understand we're looking at this. So you live in this area and you're curious, you can go online and find out about it. I try to be very proactive in reaching out to residents when I know someone's gonna use their property as it's currently zoned and they're gonna develop it. If that's happening, the residents around it are gonna wonder what's going on, and that's just a site plan approval. It doesn't go to the board of mayor and alderman. So I've tried to get out in front of those things, meet with the HOA, explain what's being planned, what the protections are, what are their concerns. They live there, I don't. What are your concerns about that? We just need more interaction, and we say, okay, all of our agendas are online. Well, if you are not familiar with it, by the time you've read through it, and you know how fast things can happen, you're playing catch up. We need to be able to get people more engaged and informed of how the process works so they can effectively advocate for themselves.
Here's a question. Community events bring residents and visitors together while supporting local businesses. What role should the town of Farragut play in supporting special events? And the second part of this question, the sense of full disclosure, came from my business partner, Mike Arms, so I'm gonna toss it out there so everybody will know where this one came from. Should Farragut build an event center for special events?
I'll take that one first.
Okay.
I personally do not think that's a good idea. We already have an event center. This is our event center. This is what we can handle. Building an event center, getting into something like what Lenore's City has done, is spending a lot of money for something that I'm concerned whether we can sustain it and support it. And I'm not interested in doing that. That's something the private sector can take on if they're interested. Town of Farragut actually we host a lot of special events. And we're always looking for other folks to host special events. We don't want to just be the ones doing special events. So that's what the FBA has jumped in and done a lot of special events. We have the taco, I forget what that, tequila and tacos, that's a private event. So the lawn chair series, that was done by a group of, a couple of ladies that were really wanting to do that kind of event. I'd love to see that one come back, and that's a lot of work. So we handle a lot of our own events and we change them up, but we're also embracing other people to do events. We had one year, the seniors or the juniors at Farragut High School did a film on the lawn, and they borrowed, I think it was Ashley's inflatable, because she was running private special events. So we're like, great, let's see more of that. I would love to see our high school seniors or juniors get together and host some kind of event like that as well. So we're open to host events. We're open to having people host.
Do you think those events help business?
Oh, sure. Well, even, especially if you're holding them. When I became alderman in 2016, one of the things that I pushed for the FBA was to bring all of their events back into the heart of our town. Because the heart of our town at that point, we had a dead gas station and the dead Silver Spoons, and we hadn't done anything with the Campbell Station Inn yet, and of course we had the old Kroger. The heart of our town looked like it was dying. So we brought all of those events into the town, in the heart of our town. You have the event, now we have stores and restaurants and stuff that's right around there that they can go and shop or go grab a bite, so I think it does help. I certainly think it helps from the Shop Farragut's point of view is, let's get these new businesses some exposure by having them have that booth space. So yes, I think that's an opportunity for them.
Do you believe the town of Farragut's infrastructure is adequate? And if so, I guess you could just say yes. If not, what do we need to be doing to make things better?
Oh, I think we're always trying to improve our infrastructure. It's just an evolving thing. You would be shocked to see how many of our roads that we have brought up to standard from the day that, 1980, there's a map online that shows, and it's still work in progress. We still have some substandard roads that we need to work on. And of course now, we have the ATMS project in place. Now we're pushing to get some AI involved with it to get it learning when traffic challenges happen, how quickly can we get that system moving through. If there's accident on the highway, you know how backed up it gets here. So I think it's a constant evolution. We still have the Ford property and trying to figure out the network of roads how are we going to move traffic through that? And if we move it in, we have a feasibility study going on for bringing Jamestown Boulevard straight across and Municipal Center Drive across from where the town hall is and behind Kohl's. That was a plan. But what more are we going to do for the rest of that property to bring traffic through? Because you could very well take some traffic off of the Kingston Pike Campbell Station Road intersection. What does that look like? So it's still it's in progress. It's always going to be a work in progress.
And as a former commissioner and former mayor, you're always going to have challenges, and they evolve over time as things continue to grow. Yeah. Speaking of challenges, one opportunity that's out there, a big opportunity, is Knox County's getting a new mayor on September 1. 2 new at-large county commissioners at that same time, new sheriff, and some other folks. So how do you build relationships if you're elected? How are you going to build relationships with those people? Because I can tell you it's absolutely critical and imperative that the town of Farragut have a working relationship with the county and the city and the county have a working relationship with the town.
Yes.
Everybody's better start when that happens. So how do you build that relationship?
Well, I'll tell you how I built it. In 2016, when I was elected, I started attending the county commission meetings. And a funny story, the first time I walk in, I walk back and I sit on one of the benches. And then I'm sitting there watching it, and guess who sits next to me? Tim Burchett. I'm sitting on Tim Burchett's bench, and I didn't know that I'm sitting on Tim Burchett's bench. And that's how I started. I started showing up to their planning sessions. I was very involved. When they were going through Advanced Knox, I was at every meeting. I was at their workshops. I'm still following through UDO. I had a great working relationship with John Schoonmaker and Kim Frazier. In fact, it was my relationship with Kim Frazier where I was able to advocate for a reduced density out in Chodo, because they're kind of overwhelmed. And the plans they had for Old Concord, I told them, this is gonna fall like a lead balloon. You guys need to really rethink this. You need to go look at what it is. So I was able to advocate for them. And then get with the people from Old Concord when they had tweaked it, but they hadn't got it quite right. I was able to reach out to them and then get them connected in with Kim and with John. I intend to have that kind of same relationship with whoever is the county commission, because I agree with you that that's so important. I had a great working relationship with Susan Horn. We were actually friends before. We both were elected at the same time. I have a great working relationship with Lauren. I can pick up the phone and give her a call and ask questions and get informed. Sat down with Brent Gibson. I'm very hopeful that he's going to bring his plan to fruition, getting more police on the streets. I'm hopeful that that's going to work out. But I have a good relationship with him. Betsy and I know each other. I've known her from the school board for some time. I don't know Bo, so that, how that one falls out, I don't know. So, and I also have a very good relationship with Knox County staff, which, as you know, is as important as knowing the elected officials, because sometimes.
Amen. and a lot of times people think, oh, go see the mayor get it done, and sometimes it's just need to see the staff get it done.
Yeah, and they have all the answers. You're like, okay, I just, so that's important. And of course, then I have the state representatives that, how Knox County all gets together. So you go to those 2 ML meetings and you make sure that you're connecting with them, and you know that you're supportive of them. I have great working relationship with Jason and Dr. Briggs, and all of those things are important.
Yes, they're important. And a lot of people may not know this, but Dr. Briggs started his political career as a county commissioner when I was mayor, so I had the pleasure of working with Dr. Briggs for a number of years and really appreciated his service. Residential development. So does Farragut need residential development? If so, what type do you need, or what would you be willing to consider?
We don't pursue residential development. We don't have a property tax. So I hate to say this like this, but we don't care if houses are built. So we're not going out and looking for it. But we know it's coming, and we know people have property rights, and you can't say to someone who has agricultural and is surrounded by residential, no, we're not gonna let you rezone your property. It's not, it just doesn't make sense. No one's gonna farm in the middle of a residential area. So that kind of stuff happens, and you have to be thoughtful about the rezoning has to kind of match what is already there. We know that the Ford property, the back of it's R2, they have rights to R2, that's low density residential, that's all it should ever be. We do not need any more density because we're dealing with so much traffic coming through our town that we don't need to be adding density unnecessarily. I think the residents are worn out on building and development in general, although we can't control the pace of that. People have constitutional rights to develop their property and exercise their rights when they want to exercise their rights. We have to provide their due process rights to how they work through the system, as you well know. So sometimes our hands are tied. A lot of the remaining undeveloped land in our town is already zoned for commercial office or residential use. So it's a matter of being very thoughtful about that use, looking at how you protect existing residential from anything that might be incompatible, if that means buffers or how they access into the network of roads, making sure that they're not necessarily coming into an existing neighborhood. Like we have an R4 development that's not supposed to come into the existing, it's supposed to come out on Kingston Pike. We just went through that process. They pulled out their plan. So Fox Den is safe once again, but it's constantly making sure that as we go through the development, that we're trying to take care of the existing residential.
And sometimes as elected officials, you spend a lot of your time playing defense, which is just as important in many cases it is playing offense, so.
Yeah.
Good point. Greatest challenges facing Farragut that you would experience as mayor?
Well, I think we've already talked about them. It's the traffic and communication. I think those are the things we need to get squared away. I think the challenges that our businesses are having, I want our small businesses to have a more seamless experience. I think that's something that we need to address. I think those are the biggest things that we have. We have a comprehensive plan, and I think when people hear the word comprehensive plan, their eyes glaze over. But without resident input, it's the residents who participate who control our destiny, because that's all you can take is the input you get. And so we need more residents understanding that this is important for them to participate in.
This is a Mike Ragsdale question,
Okay.
not on the list, but I made this when I was doing this similar forum for the Knox County mayor candidates. People are moving to our region and our communities because we have such a great quality of life. And you look at it, you're always gonna have challenges. They're never gonna go away. They're always gonna be there in some way, shape, form, or fashion. But people, when they look at us, think, I wanna be there, I wanna live here. What do you like living about? What do you most enjoy about living in the town of Farragut?
Oh, everything is so close. All the things that you need are here. Your dentist, we have plenty of dentists. If you don't like your dentist, you can find another dentist, probably next door. So you have your doctors, you have the parks and the sidewalks and trail system. We have events, we have the park, this recreation center has so many offerings. We have all of the parks and the ability to, you can now play pickleball in the Watt Road Park, you have tennis, you have basketball, you have, it's all right here. Everything we need really is right here. And it's beautiful, they keep it, they maintain it. I think we're working so hard to bring all of our roads up to safe condition. We've made quite an investment there. We have great schools, we have great library, we have this great senior center now. It's this community is we've got a new Publix, we have every grocery store you can imagine. It's and we're getting great restaurants and one-off restaurants, mom and pop restaurants. We got Elkmont Station and 35 North, and Admiral Pub is kicking it over in the Kroger. We've got a lot of exciting things happening.
Last question. Why should these individuals vote for you to be their mayor?
If you want a leader who is educated and knowledgeable, can stand with you in a neighborhood meeting and answer your questions, and know when she doesn't have the answer and who she needs to go to, that's who I am. I'm here to serve my community. I love this community. Work very hard to make the residents who are directly impacted by any kind of new development heard and help them advocate for themselves. If you want to be educated about how things work, I want to flatten that learning curve for you. No one should walk into a planning commission meeting and not understand what's going on so that they can advocate for their concerns. That's something that I'm very passionate about. I will research something if I don't understand where something happened, and I will go back and research in our archives to make sure I understand what the foundation of something was. That's the kind of person, you're gonna have a leader who shows up on your front door and provides you the information you need and furthers a conversation. I wanna make sure that our community is starting to work together. We seem so divided and it's very frustrating to watch. I wanna see our community come together and be more supportive of each other.
Louise, thank you very much. I mean, having run for a political officer too, it's challenging sometimes, but we really appreciate it and the leadership you provide in the past and also being here this evening. We're a little bit early finishing up for obvious reasons, and since we only had one candidate, but thank you and so good to see you.
Thank you.
Mike, I was gonna say something.
So we are, it's just on, can you hear me? Oh, you see it. How about now? No. How about now? Oh, yeah. So we're gonna ask our candidates for alderman to come up and have a seat at the table. We're gonna have a little bit different rules this time because each alderman will have 2 minutes to respond to the question. And I'm gonna